Hi friends, it's your art teacher, Miss Barnett, and this week's lesson called Seeing Textures, we looked at some artwork and figured out if the textures were natural, made from nature, or they were man-made, people made the objects, and we looked at how textures feel on our face and our hair and our clothes and our shoes and the floor. So if we're going to get started, we're going to make some material, some cloth for our character's clothing. And what we're going to need today is a big piece of paper. If you don't have a big piece of paper, get like maybe 2 or 3 pieces of smaller paper. And we're going to use the front and the back of our papers today. You're going to want some painter's tape to hold the paper down. And you're going to want some crayons, some dark colored crayons. I've got black, purple, green, brown, red, and blue. Those are the colors I'm going to have available to me today. And I've taken the paper off of the crayons. So have your mom or dad help you take the paper off your crayons because we're going to use the side today. We're going to hold it like this and we're going to rub it back and forth on our paper with our objects to create our patterns or our textures for our clothing. If you haven't already, take a moment and I want you to do a texture hunt in your house. So what you're going to want, and these are just, some of the things I found when I did a texture walk. You're going to want small things that are flat, este plato, and that have texture. Necesitas textura on tu objectivos. So I have, that's like a little piece of wood. I've got, this is a lot of little stuff, excuse me. I've got bubble wrap. I've got some netting, see? I've got cardboard. And I took the front off of the cardboard and it had this cool ribbed texture underneath. I also have some other ribbed material. And I found some plastic sheets in my room. So I've got this one that's kind of bubbly. I've got these little papers. So you just want something small and flat with texture. If you're in school with me, you might use one of these texture plates that I have, and I'll show you how to use those too. Bookmarks, anything that has texture you can use for this assignment. You could even use your shoes. So go do a texture hunt, find lots of cool things that are flat and have really cool, that feel really cool. And when you're done, come back here and I'll show you how to make our material. Let's get started. All right, kiddos, so I've taken my paper, I've used my painter's tape and I've taped it down. It's gonna be easier for you to stand up when you're doing this today. So make sure you're standing. I'm going to take an object. We'll start with this one and we're gonna put it under our paper. Now I'm gonna fill, I can feel it under the paper. And then I'm going to put my hand on the other side to hold the paper steady. And I'll pick a color. I think I'm gonna do blue. We're only going to use the broad side, so only use this part. Solamente usando aquí. No necesitas allí or aquí. So we're going to hold it down. Ooh, and we're gonna rub back and forth. And look how all that cool texture came through from our object. Now let's try moving it a little bit. And let's change the color and see what happens. Oh, wow. So cool, guys. So I just created overlapping. I put something, an object in behind another object. So it looks like the blue box is behind the red box with the texture. So cool. Let's switch objects and let's try this wood and see what happens. I'll put it down here. I feel the object here and I'm holding down my paper with my other hand. Wow. Can you see the texture? How awesome is that? Let's move it and try another color. This is so fun. You're going to have such a good time doing this, I promise you. So now I'm going to just continue to work and fill up my paper, and you can watch me. Here we go. All right, kiddos, so I filled up the first side of my paper with so many cool textures. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip our paper over. We're going to very carefully take off that tape. Turn our paper over to the otro side. Usando otra vez. Necesitas usando the tape. Put the tape back down. And now we're going to do some more rubbing on this side. Let's go. All right, kiddos, so I finished my second side of my texture rubbing. Now I'm going to get out my markers and I'm going to go into any white spaces and I'm going to color them in. So you can watch me do that and then you can work on yours. Here we go. Okay, kiddos, I've finished coloring with markers all the blank spaces on this side of my paper. Let's flip it over and let's find if I see a couple of white spaces here and here and maybe over here. So I'm going to color in those too. Here we go. All right, kiddos, here is my completed Seeing Textures project. I found so many cool textures, and then I colored in my empty spaces with my markers, and I think this is going to look so cool. So remember to hold on to this because we're going to use this next week. I hope you have just as much fun as I did seeing textures today, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, friends.